Let's say you'd like to add a rounder, silkier mouthfeel to your stirred cocktails, like the old-fashioned or a martini. Clarifying with milk is a great way to do that. But you need the milk to curdle, so you also add acidity, and citrus juice can add a flavor you might not want. That cannot be a thing of the past, thanks to the powdered milk punch technique. Today we'll go over 2 different ways of using this new clarifying technique to show you how you can make 2 mind-blowing but also very different old-fashioned cocktails, including a vegan-friendly pina colada inspired rum old-fashioned. If you'll reach the bottom of the glass, we'll check out the history of powdered milk, so stick around for that. Now it's time to learn, experiment and enjoy something a little different. In short, it's cocktail time. So to set the scene for what we're doing today, and why, as mentioned in the intro, clarified milk punch uses milk proteins to add a luxurious, velvety texture to the cocktail, while the acidity in the cocktail curdles the milk, making it possible to strain out all of the solids, which also clarifies the cocktail and removes the tannins, resulting in a rounder and rich drink without the heaviness of the dairy. This is far from being a modern technique. Milk punches date back to the 1700s, in the era before refrigeration, as it creates a stable drink that could be stored for long periods of time. But then Daniel Villa, a bartender working in Charlotte, North Carolina, realized he could hack the age-old technique by using powdered milk. I let him explain it.
Thanks, Kevin. So the fun thing about this powdered milk approach is that in the processing of dehydrating the milk, it's already been broken down into curds essentially once. So even when you rehydrate it, it's never fully stabilized again. In this way, we don't have to use any citrus at all to break it again. It just takes time and a little encouragement. That's where the salt comes into play in the recipe, and this little bit of heating. Aside from that, spirit is enough to do it. The other great advantage about this particular method is you can play around with your milk source. You don't have to use dairy milk. Coconut works as well, and I'm sure that you can find other dehydrated milks out there with which this approach would work. And the real last advantage of it is that this process gives you the option to toast your milk powders and impart a really nice, like nutty, buttery flavor into your final cocktail. That'll just make it a little bit smoother and rounder. So just have fun with it, and I can't wait to see what you do.
Thanks, Daniel, that was great. Now for the first cocktail, a toasted milk powder old-fashioned. And for the second one, we'll rehydrate the powder with something other than just water, which is another fun way to add flavor with this technique. We'll first make a small batch of both cocktails, then try them both together. With the toasted milk powder, I'll make a whiskey old-fashioned using 4 Roses small batch bourbon as the base. This Kentucky straight bourbon sits at 45% ABV or over 90 proof. It's made with a small selection of bourbon whiskies that have been aged between 6 and 7 years. Its rich, buttery and honey taste with popcorn notes will work great with what we're doing with this powdered milk. Before we rehydrate it, I'll toast these 40 grams of powdered milk in an oven. To do that, spread the powdered milk evenly on a baking sheet. I've gotten the best results when I had the oven set to 110 degrees Celsius or 230 degrees Fahrenheit and let it toast for about 5 to 10 minutes. High temperatures can burn or brown the powder too quickly. Once the powdered milk is toasted, it might be a bit uneven, with darker edges. That's okay, because we'll mix it all with water, and it will taste great, with a nice caramel aroma and flavor added to the powdered milk. For that I'll boil 280 grams of water, and add our toasted powdered milk. And since powdered milks can vary, I'd suggest you follow the instructions on the packaging, like I did with this one. Whisk well for about half a minute, then set this aside. Now that we have our rehydrated and toasted milk, we can build our whiskey old-fashioned. Start with 8 ounces, or 240 ml of 4 Roses small batch. 4 Roses also offers their classic bourbon, a single barrel version and a small batch select. Something that will pair nicely with a small batch bourbon is maple syrup. I'm adding 1 ounce or 30 ml. And rinsing it out means you really get the full ounce. Next, Angostura bitters, 6 dashes from the regular bottle, or 12 dashes from a smaller dasher bottle. And as always, to enhance all the flavors and to get the most out of the toasted milk punch, 8 drops of saline solution. Mix everything before we pour it over the still hot toasted milk. We need 3 ounces or 90 ml of the milk for the amount of cocktail we made. Cocktail over the milk, and once nicely mixed, let it sit for 10 minutes. The curds will start forming quite quickly, just as if we added citrus to this cocktail. After that passes, I'll strain it through a coffee filter. As the curds form an additional filter, you can strain the liquid through again, until you end up with a clear result. Once this will be strained, you're ready to serve it over ice, but let's first get the second cocktail ready as well. In this one we are combining 2 interesting variations to this technique. First we're using a vegan-friendly coconut milk, but we're also spicing up things with a pineapple tea made from pineapple scraps, namely the peels. So start by peeling half of a pineapple. We don't need pineapple juice today. But check out the cryo concentration episode if you want the sweetest pineapple juice even if your pineapple isn't super ripe. We need 200 grams of peels for our tea. As for the leaves, pluck some nice ones that can be used for garnish. You can save them in the freezer for future use. Now let's bring 600 grams of water to a boil, then throw in the pineapple peels. Cover and continue to simmer on low heat for 5 minutes. After that, strain out the peels and let's use this zero waste pineapple tea to rehydrate the powdered coconut milk. We need 15 grams of coconut powder and 200 grams of pineapple tea. This is slightly less than with the first one, because when testing those amounts I got a thicker mixture that filtered for a really long time, and there was too much coconut flavor, overpowering the pineapple. When that's fully mixed and dissolved, I'll also make a 2-to-1 syrup with the remaining pineapple tea. I'm using 150 grams of pineapple tea, leaving a little bit just in case I need to rehydrate some more coconut milk. Then add 300 grams of sugar and dissolve. Heating it slightly will make that easier, of course. Then bottle and label the syrup, that can also work great in a daiquiri or many tiki cocktails. Now that this is all ready, it's time to make the second cocktail, the Piña Colada Milk Punch Rum Old Fashioned. Again start with 8 ounces, or 240 ml, this time La Cesar Reserva Familiar rum. We're using the same amount of the base spirit as before, and also the same amount of syrup, but this time is the pineapple tea rich syrup, 1 ounce or 30 ml. You can rinse it out to get all the syrup. For bitters, I'm using homemade chocolate bitters, but Angostura cocoa bitters are a great option too. I'm adding 12 dashes. And same as before, 8 drops of 20% saline solution. The following procedure is the same as before as well. Once all ingredients are mixed, we'll pour them over 3 ounces or 90 ml of still hot coconut and pineapple milk. It will curdle, slightly less than before, but I'll still let it sit for 10 minutes. After that it's time to filter, again through our coffee filter. The filtration process will be longer here, but be patient and make sure you're getting as clear of a result as possible by refiltering the first part. Then, just give it time. Now, when both of the cocktails are strained, you can get chilled glasses and some ice, and just pour and serve our citrusless milk punch old fashions. When fully strained, we should have enough for 4 servings each, but you can easily multiply the amounts to make a bigger batch and bottle it for future use. I'm using low tumbler glasses for both, with a tempered ice block in each. Pour out 2.5 ounces or 75 ml of each cocktail into the glasses before stirring and adding the garnish. This is a great opportunity to practice a little dexterity with a double stir. For the whiskey old fashioned, I'm expressing essential oils from orange peel over the top and adding it on the ice. For the Piña Colada rum old fashioned, I'm adding a small elegant sized pineapple leaf. Doesn't get any simpler. Let's give them a try, starting with the whiskey and toasted milk version. Aromas reminiscent of a classic old fashioned with strong orange notes. On the palate, it transforms into a smoother version, where the bourbon's aromatics blend well with the caramel buttery milk. The curdling process enhances the cocktail's character and, in my opinion, even improves it. For our rum, pineapple and coconut milk version, we get a slightly murky old-fashioned, probably due to the fats in coconut milk. When the aroma, rum and coconut dominate, the cocktail maintains its full-bodied character, with exciting tropical notes. Not quite a piña colada, but it's tropical, nutty and rich. With that we've made it to the bottom of the glass of milk. Post that emoji in the comments if you made it this far. For a few fun facts about the history of powdered milk, we need to go back all the way to the time of Marco Polo. He wrote about Mongolian Tatar troops who carried sun-dried skimmed milk as a kind of paste, but the first modern production process for dried milk was invented by a Russian doctor Osip Klishevsky in 1802, with his compatriot, chemist M. Dirchov, organizing the first commercial production of the dried milk in 1832. And now, some 190 years later, we're using it to make better milk punches. Evolution. Alongside milk punches, you can also use it in cooking, baking and even tea or coffee to add richness and creaminess. For another fun dairy ingredient for your cocktails, check out this milk syrup to add a bit of froth without using egg whites. I'll see you next week. Cheers! Friends of cocktails.